to another RFS Trading. We want to talk today a little bit about the 100% programs. It's one of those things that always seem to be rather elusive out there on the markets, but we actually offer three different programs for 100% financing. And tonight we're just talking about one of those programs. As I say that, I just kind of want you to know too, this particular program is 100% for fix and flips, and we're going to kind of talk a little bit about that. We have another 100% program that's very unique in that the 100% can even wrap in all closing costs, fees, you name it, can be wrapped in. We've even had some borrowers get a little bit of cash back at closing on that program. So this one is also a very unique program. It is also designed for 100% financing for fix and flips. This particular program, it requires just a couple of things, but let's just take a really quick look at it. It's designed for 100% for fix and flips. It does 100% of the purchase, 100% of the rehab, up to 70% of the after repaired value, and that's really one of the biggest things investors out there look for. When I was out flipping homes, before the foreclosure crisis back in 08, 09, I always look to do deals at 65% of the ARV, just because I felt comfortable with that. And I knew that if I could do it at 65% ARV, I was guaranteed to have a good profit margin built in. If I can get it at 60, even better. Now, the thing about that, for real estate investors and some of those bigger market, like more competitive markets, places like New York and Connecticut, New Jersey, some of those other like bigger metropolitan areas, it doesn't fare out so well because you need that 70%. And then sometimes 75% ARV, but the 70% at least gets you high enough to where if you got to hit the 75 and you got to use only 5% of your cash, it's not a bad deal. So the general terms on this, 9 months. We do allow bridge extensions on this particular program. We have found that, the markets right now are so competitive because mortgage rates are low. The 30-year notes are cheap and houses are flying off the markets. In today's economy, even for the real estate investors that are out there flipping, they're able to do deals in and out 3, 4, 5, 6 months. There aren't many that go the full term of the 9 months unless they seem to be in the higher price brackets, which is a little bit of a different thing. But we still do those as well. So the rates start at 9.99%. One thing I really want to say about rates, even at the 9.99, and they can actually go up to about 10.99 depending on experience. We need a minimum of 2 properties. If you've got 10 or more, then you can actually get the 90, you can get the 9.99%. Anything under that sometimes tends to be around the 10.49 range, essentially. The lender charges 3 points on origination and 2.5 points on the broker side, which is our origination for what we charge. We are pretty flexible with that though, so we try to bring that down a little bit to help. But at the end of the day, the cost of the capital for the benefit of the 100% financing is kind of where the trade-off is, so to speak. But still, nonetheless, great program, moves very, very quickly in how it works. It's used for residential, single family homes up to 4 units, fourplexes, triplexes, duplexes, all work for this program. We like to see a 620 and up, but we do have options available that are just straight asset based, no score requirements. So, there are some liquidity concerns. In doing these, we like to see about 30,000 in liquidity typically on average. Depends again on which program we try to use, but on the lowest side it's 30K. We have another 100% program that likes to see about 50K in reserves, and then we have the other one that typically requires about 10% of the actual project in reserves, plus 6 months of interest reserves and just a couple other things. So just depends on the program, but nonetheless, the most important thing to understand right now is that we have the options available that cover the spectrum on what you may need as a real estate investor in today's market for the 100% financing options. So in this particular scenario, we like to have 2 completed flips in the last 24 months. We can close escrow on this particular program within 21 to 30 days. We try to move those faster, 7 to 15, but we don't really promise that because we never know what may happen once we get into a deal. We do on this particular program, actually on two of them, they look for 1 year's tax return. The tax return is not an indication of income, it's more for just fraud protection, checking identification, make sure that you've got a legitimate LLC, even though we will look for all of the LLC documents as well. We look for the bank statements that show again the 30K reserves. We may check just one HUD-1 from a previous deal, and we'll need a driver's license to get it going. You know, we want to show you all of this information up front and be fully transparent, because when you submit a deal, we want to move it through the pipeline as quick as possible. In order to do that, we need to educate you on how it works. So wanted to just kind of focus in on the 100% program right now. Again, there's three options that we have on the market. Once the deal comes in, we can look at it. Our affiliated partners, our internal account managers, we try to keep everyone pretty well educated on how all of these programs work. So once it gets into the submission process and we can review it, we can always come back with options and talk about, you know, what's going to be the best fit for you and for your real estate investment business. Thank you.